Yes, people, what's happening? And welcome to your Monday night live stream with myself, Will Cranny, and the UK's most feared comedian, Frankie Allen. We tried to get this sorted for you about 2 minutes ago. Fucking hell, the technical difficulties we're having lately.
Gremlins,
crazy, aren't they?
It's called gremlins. Just kind of like, don't know, just things that happen and crackles and static and things go on and off. And yeah, gremlins, they call it. Don't you think it was from a film on it? Wasn't there a film called Gremlins?
Now, we know that we are definitely live on Facebook. Please let us know if you are tuning in on the replay. Comment replay below. But if you're tuning in live, please tell us where you are tuning in from and what you are getting up to with your Monday evening. We're going to have some light relief from what's going on in the world, and we're going to have a good laugh tonight. We've got loads of people in the chat now. We've got, let's have a little look. We've got Ashley Molyneux. Hi, lads. From Andy Shenwell. Darren's here. We've got Eric Moyler in the chat. Dave Riley. Hi, lads. How are you both? So how are you, Frank?
Well, we're doing great. And we did a tour of my house today, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. It's a secret, that, actually.
Oh, it's a secret. Someone mentioned that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that we're doing this tonight anyway. As I say, it's great to be communicating with people anyway, even if it's not on stage.
Brilliant. So we've got a new little setup tonight. Obviously, we're able to go live on YouTube and on Facebook. So we're going to be answering everyone's comments for the next hour or so. And if you've got anything that you would like to put towards Frankie or myself, please do let us know. And we'll be answering all your questions. And the next thing we want to say is Liverpool. They just signed a defender deadline day. How do you feel about that?
Liverpool Football Club. I mean, a lot of people last week had Liverpool kind of dead and buried for the Premiership, really, didn't they? They went through a bit of a bad time, probably because I think that Van Dijk wasn't available, and it just shows you what one man, how one man can influence a team. He really had a great effect on how the team played, and once he went, he steadily went downhill. But they get themselves together now. They won 2 away games on the trot, so it looks like I think they're only a point behind Man United and 4 points behind City, I think. So whatever it is, it's not a great deal, and they've come up fourth, so I think they'll be challenging. Yeah,
brilliant. Obviously, just signed 2 defenders tonight. Good stuff.
Signed a fella from Preston.
They signed the lad from Preston for 2 million, and they've signed the lad from Schalke in Germany for on loan with an 18 million option. So all looking positive. Any Liverpool fans, let us know how you're feeling about that. Frank Price is in here. He says, "Hi guys. Frank the Ghost tuning in from Stratford-upon-Avon."
Okay.
Frankie, how is the sciatica?
Frank, the sciatica. Do you know what? I'm dying to meet Frank the Ghost because I really feel as though I know he's the same kind of age as me. You know, you can just tell when you speak to people, you're on a kind of like, you've got it on the same level, so to speak. He's probably likes the singers and the groups that I like. You know, it's weird, isn't it? You know, you can speak to people and you feel like an affinity. But yes, sciatica. Frank, I've had it for 30 years. And I don't really know how I got it. I think it was probably when I was a bit younger, trying to lift weights. And as you know, the discs in your back, the fluid or the padding, whatever they call it, goes in with the gel between the discs, gets worn away. And you've only got to kind of move slightly or lift something. And the 2 discs can rub together. And the lumbar nerve becomes inflamed then. And it's kind of like paralyzed in a way, you know, you kind of slumped over to one side, you can't walk. Nobody goes to an osteopath, but it was quite bad last week. So it's 8 days now today since it was really bad, and every day gradually it's got better and better and better. Anyone who's got sciatica out there, it's a pain that goes right down the back of your arse, down the back of your leg, into your foot, and you get numbness with it. You're better off just resting, I find, just rest in bed as much as you can. Take ibuprofen to relieve the swelling. You know, it's kind of like what do they call it when you ibuprofen? What does it do? Anti-inflammatory. Yeah, anti-inflammatory brings the swelling down, and I feel fine now. I'm still a little kind of like, you know, bit of a strange shape when I stand in front of the mirror, but only a little bit. I'm sure in a few days it's going to be back to normal.
Nice one. So massive thank you to everyone for tuning in. We've got hundreds of people in the chat now. Please do get this video shared. Give us a thumb up if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, all the rest of it. We're going to have a little light relief chat for everyone and Monday night Q&A. Let's talk to some people. Okay, first of all, Neil says, Frankie, get the op. It's keyhole these days. I had done it, and I'll never look back.
Well, I didn't know that. And that's news to me. I'm glad you've come on because I've heard about the operation for sciatica and for slip discs and things. And I've always thought it was a GA, general anaesthetic, which I don't want and I won't have. I can't fly, can't get in lifts, I can't get on an escalator, and I can't have operations that involve general anaesthetic. I'm scared. I'm kind of like scared in case I don't wake up. But about, as you say, keyhole would be great for me. I had an operation many years ago on my back just to cut this cyst out. And they wanted to do a GA and I refused. Wouldn't have a general. So I had an epidural, which any women out there will know. When you're having a baby sometimes, they keep you awake, you're conscious, they put an injection into your spine and you're paralysed from kind of like the waist down, but it's only temporary and they can operate on you. So I think I'll go with that. I'll make some inquiries about that. Thanks for that.
Nice one.
Good lad.
Big thanks to you, Neil Thomas. So
thanks, Neil.
Let's shout out some people that are in the chat right now. As I said, if you're watching on replay, comment replay. If you're watching live, give us a thumb up. Tell us where you are tuning in from for your Monday night and what you're getting up to, how you're getting on. Let's talk to some people. Andy Shemwell, we just spoke to then. David Sprigg is coming into the chat. Let's all move to the Isle of Man. Ashley Molyneux saying.
Well, do you know it's strange you should say that because we had a job booked in the Isle of Man, didn't we?
Yeah.
I think we rescheduled it for August, is it?
I think
the
so.
7th of August. Yeah, we're going back to the Isle of Man. And as soon as I saw it on the news, all restrictions are lifted in the Isle of Man. You know, they can just do basically what they want. Don't even think they have to distance. So, fucking hell. I mean, let's get over the Isle of Man and do a show, Will.
Fair enough. Okay, let's see what people are saying.
I think you've got a quarantine, though, if you come from the mainland. Yeah.
I don't think you can even go there.
You can't go there.
No, you can't go there. Ian Wilson, good evening, fellas. Wyatt Sharp, Dave Riley, how are you both? All good. Eric Moyler says, Frankie, you look younger than Will, lads.
Don't think I look younger than Will, but I'm looking well at the moment. And the key to is, I think, with a lot of people, as you get older, you've got to be careful with your weight. I mean, I'm the first to admit, I've had a little bit done on myself. Look, anyone who hasn't seen, all my hair's been done. That's scalp pigmentation. It's all tattoo. I've had my teeth done. I've had a bit of Botox, things around my eyes. Because I'm on the stage, I don't really want to look too old. I don't want to look my age because I'm picking on people who are probably younger than me and saying, where you going, mate? On your way to the cemetery. Don't be drinking any whiskey. You'll see enough spirits next year. Stuff like that, taking the piss out of older people. So I've got to try and look relatively young. But in my studies, I've made it kind of like a career of this, of trying to get things done and look a bit younger than what I am. What I've found is very aging weight. Keep your weight down, especially if your face blows up and you get over 40, over 50. Your face seems to blow up with fat and it makes you look very old, gives the game away, gives your age away. So anybody out there is trying to look a bit younger, might be separated, divorced or whatever, and you're back in the scheme of things, might be looking for a bird or a bird looking for a fella. Get your weight down.
Okay, let's answer some questions from people. We've got Dave Riley who says, Frankie, when you're on stage, can you tell whether it's a good night or a difficult one? And if a difficult one, so he's obviously saying, can you tell straight away whether it's going to be a good night or a difficult one? And if it's a difficult one, how do you cope?
Well, look, it's like this. It's like any kind of job. You get it sussed out in the end. I've done this for an awful long time. Now, what will give you a good insight into how you're going to go down is where you're working. Obviously, Frankie Allen's show appeals to very working class people. So that's great for me. So all the working class areas of the UK that I work at, the people are very spit and swordless, down to earth, great people, no airs and graces. There's no edge to them. They're just out for a laugh. They don't mind you swearing. They want to be picked on. So if I get a job, and somebody says, Will says to me, look, we're working in Sunderland. Where is it? We're in, Grangetown. I go, oh, fucking great, yeah. In Blackpool, we're in Grange Park. That's great. In Liverpool, we're working in Kirby. Manchester, you've got a job in Wythenshawe. These estates, these little areas, neighbourhoods, they're going to be full of great working class people. So as soon as you go in the club, you're on a winner anyway. Having said that, as you say, you might get a crowd. Some crowds, the problem we've had is people have been going out in the afternoon and drinking all day. coming to the show at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night to see the Frankie Allen show. And they've been a little bit kind of pissed up and not reacting properly to the gags, not reacting, to Will, not reacting to Kilbo, to our support comedian, not even reacting properly to me. And you'll get what I call a tired crowd, where they come out, they're doing gags, and they're laughing, but they're kind of like slow, and you might get a few hecklers, but you can work your way through it. There's different ways of approaching a crowd and working a crowd. But touch wood, we haven't had a bad one for an awful long time. I think we've got it sus now.
Brilliant. Okay, want to chat to some people who we've got in here. We've got Faye Robinson coming in from Manchester, Susan Hodgson coming in from Wigan, Michael Hitchcock, who's been messaging me, good lad, he's coming in from Poole in Dorset.
Cool.
Sean coming in from Brow, Cumbria, Ronnie Spriggs in the chat, the Rodfather coming in from the Isle of Wight. He says, for fuck's sake, Frankie, get a hat that fits.
Is this too small? Is it all too big? It's just that I feel kind of cold sometimes because I've got no fucking hair, just these little dots on my head. So I always wear a cap and I like wearing it. But if you don't think it's fit, good advice. I'll go look for another one.
Jay Jones, happy Monday, stay safe, good lad. Nick Holland is also in the chat. Shout out to Nick Holland.
Nicky.
We've got Brothers Dave, who says, a good mate of mine knows you very well, pal Charlie Hale. And he says he prayed for you when you were unwell.
Yeah, Charlie Hale's a marvellous comedian, as well as he's kind of like a pastor now. He's involved with Christian ministries and things. And he had his own TV show at one stage. I used to watch him. He used to come on these God channels and religious channels. Charlie used to come on. And he prayed and he put his hands on a friend of mine, Peter Foxy, who was suffering with cancer. And he's been in remission for a few years now. So Charlie's a genius and a lovely lad. Charlie Hale from Warrington, good lad.
Brilliant. Anthony Sykes, Frankie, have you ever thought about being a therapist?
In what way? What kind? Psycho therapist, you mean, or kind of like physio? What do you mean?
He's not going to mean a physiotherapist, is he? He's not going to think.
I don't know.
Have you?
Well, psychotherapist. Well, I possibly could be. I mean, I'm very good at giving advice to people, only because the kind of life I've had hasn't been kind of like a bed of roses, really. I've been, really skint, no money at all. I've been living in a little flat, bed sit on my own, no fucking curtains, no carpet, no money at all to spend on food, really. Really gone on, lived on biscuits and tea and little kettle in the corner. I mean, a lot of people who kind of empathise with me, people out there have gone through a bad time. Maybe there's people out there that are having a bad time now with this lockdown and things. I think we're all struggling. But yeah, a lot of things have happened to me in my life that haven't been very good. I've had trouble around the club, been filled in, been stabbed. I've had kind of like mental health problems, nervous breakdowns. So I've been there, done that, read the book and wore the T-shirt. So yeah, what you're saying is right. Yeah, I could give some good therapy, good advice to people who are struggling with things. And what I say to anybody in any situation that you're in, whether it's 2 months down the line or 3 weeks or 2 years or 6 years, what we're going through now, even with this pandemic and things, whatever problems that you're going through, in the end, eventually, will just be a memory. You'll remember one day, you'll think, oh, remember that bird that broke my heart? And you won't be bothered. And you'll be going, fucking, I'm doing well now, look at my car. Remember the time I never had a penny? It'll always be memories. And you can't even remember how you got out of that situation when you didn't have any money and how you kind of lifted yourself up to where you were earning. So, yeah, just look at my advice to people is communicate with everybody, speak to people. You'll feel a lot better if you communicate. And always remember, things are only temporary.
Okay, brilliant. We've got loads of questions coming in. As I said, if you are watching this on replay, please comment replay. If you're watching this live, give us a thumb up and place your comments below because, we're ready to answer every single one of them. We've got Wyatt Shark. Wyatt Shark says, can you sing, Frankie? Would you ever write and perform funny comedy songs, all the best from London?
Well, it's strange you should say that because I was in a kind of a comedy band in the 80s. And the guy that we used to have as the lead singer took ill and things. And I had to take over as the singer. So I used to open up for the group, doing 2 or 3 songs. And then I eventually became the lead singer in the band and doing most of the comedy as well. So I can sing, yeah. I've never really thought about doing a comedy song. Although we were talking about Benny Hill today, weren't we?
Yeah.
Benny Hill, anybody remembers in 1971, he had a comedy song, Ernie, the fastest milkman in the West, which got to #1. So yeah, I'd like about the time, I'd like to sit down and write a funny song and see where it went, see if it was popular.
I reckon it's a good idea. If you think that's a good idea, please do give us a thumb up. Let us know in the comments. And if you'd like a particular song, what should it be about?
It should be about Ernie, the fastest milkman in the West.
Okay, let's see. Marky Jonathan says, can you play the Roots?
Can you play the Roots? Yes, no, sadly, no.
Dude Monkfish says, was you in the Grumbleweeds?
I wasn't in the Grumbleweeds. Now, there's a guy there, probably, you know, similar age to myself, who remember the 80s and 90s when the big comedy bands were doing fantastic all over the UK. There was a group called the Grumbleweeds. There was a group called Black Onyx. There was a group called Candlewick Green. There was 3 or 4 bands going around the UK doing kind of comedy, sketch comedy, dressing up and, you know, walking across the stage as cowboys and things. It was quite funny, really, a lot of these bands. But the Candlewick Green were the big band at the time in the 80s. Loads of work and they were getting good money. There was another band called Black Onyx, and they were doing fantastic. Anyone can remember Black Onyx from Yorkshire? And there was a group called the Grumbleweeds. Between the 3 of them, they had a monopoly on most of the work, and very, very popular. So we sat down one day, the lads in our band, and we said, let's pinch their name. We called ourselves the Black Candleweeds.
Yeah.
Which is just all their pinch little bits off their name, put it all together in our name, and we done fantastic. And we got loads of work out of it.
Was it the main reason? Just because to try and get work, or to confuse people?
No, just to get work. Yeah. And people thought we were big time because we had this, you know, the Black Candleweeds, and people used to think, I wonder if it's, you know, they've heard of Candlewick Green, they've heard of Black Onyx, they've heard of the Grumbleweeds, and they think Black Candleweeds, oh yeah, it's a big band, and we weren't. We were just like, you know, a little fucking, not hopeless like, but we were just an average band.
Nice one. So yeah, I hope you're enjoying this new setup that we've got so far. Please do keep putting your questions in. We've got Sausage Jockey, who's coming in on YouTube. He says, Frankie, who is your favourite comic of the last decade and why? Cheers. Shout out. Nice one for you.
Yeah, well, I don't really have, you know, I do admire some comedians, but not the comedians that you'd think. Not really any in the UK. There was a fella, you know, a lot of American comedians are very good. I watch a lot of American comedians. Bernie Mac, who sadly passed away, black guy, a great comedian over in the States, and Cedric the Entertainer. Anyone who's seen the original Kings of Comedy, you want to watch that, though. D.L. Hughley, those, Steve Lawrence, those comedians on that show are absolutely fantastic. You've also got Bob Monkhouse, was a brilliant comedian in the UK, and Chubby Brown, our own Chubby Brown, Roy Chubby Brown. Well, the last decade, well, the last decade has been kind of like overwhelmed, really, hasn't it, by alternative comedy, which is not really my bag, so I can't really like any of those guys. But looking at mainstream comedy, which is a rarity, really, isn't it now, and blue comic, you've got to look at Roy Brown, Chubby Brown, still fantastic, brilliant comedian.
What about any people who you've worked with, support comedians, maybe?
With regard to support comedians, yeah, well, we've got James Kilbington, our own comedian, we use as support. He's a brilliant comic who's going to be big time in just a few years. He's only a young kid. We've got Jack Ryan, a friend of ours, who's in only his 20s, a brilliant, fantastic comedian. So there's a lot of people who are up and coming. A lot of people are kind of carrying the flag for not old style, what I call mainstream comedy, where you actually tell a gag, it's got a punchline at the end, picking on people and having a laugh and interacting with the audience. Yeah, so it's still going. There's still people there, yeah.
Good stuff. Appreciate it. Dude Monkfish says, nice one. Well answered for that one before. We've got, let's see, The Undertakers, remember them? Let's see what else we've got on here. Will Liverpool win the league? That's from Chetan Vanker.
Well, look, no, yeah, who knows? Nobody really knows. I mean, to be honest with you, it's a moot point, really. It doesn't really matter. We just want to try and get things back to normal, don't we? Get the crowds in the stadiums. Soon as we get crowds in, get back to normal, then we can all get our rivalries going again. But yeah, under this, it's weird in the present climate, the circumstances. But yeah, they've got a very good chance. But there's some great teams. Man United, got to give it to them, a fantastic team. So Manchester City, some great teams up and down, you know, second, third, fourth, fifth. The first half a dozen teams. And it just shows you when Man United got beat the other night. Was it Crystal Palace that beat them?
No, they got beat by Sheffield United.
Sheffield United, that's it. And they were the kind of team that were in the lower part.
Yeah, they're right at the bottom.
Right to the bottom. So what you've got to remember, any of these teams in the Premiership can really give you a good idea. Just because they're at the bottom, don't forget, these people are really the creme de la creme of all the footballers in the world, really, who are playing in the Premiership. So a lot of people go, yeah, we're only playing so-and-so. Even guys on the television were saying, oh, Man United, that's 3 points in the bag, playing at home against Sheffield United. No, they got fucking beat. They got surprised. You never know with another Premiership team, even if they're in the relegation zone, how are you going to get on? You've got to respect them.
Now, look, I know there's people coming in from all over the UK on this, but for me, that was too impartial. I know that you're less arsed than me. I think Liverpool will win the league. I think the only people that might pip them to it is Man City. But now that they've bought the new defender, we're looking good. Man United are up there. I'm not having that at the moment. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree.
Trying to be diplomatic. We don't want to be looked on as biased. You can't be biased, Will.
Julian says, I've just turned on. I thought Will was interviewing Brian Harvey from East 17.
I used to be in East 17 and I sang a song with Gabrielle. If you ever fall in love again. Brian Harvey out of East 17. He was on a night out in Nottingham, wasn't he? And you got to tell him lie. There's some fellas battered them with iron bars and everything.
Who's this?
Brian Harvey from East 17.
Why did they do that?
Don't know, but they kind of, he blamed Scousers. He said we're from Liverpool and battered them. But they may not have been. They may have just said that. But yeah, but I thought he had a fantastic voice. East 17 were great.
Fucking hell. Camilla's saying, I'm turning off now. She's a big blue, Camilla. What are you talking about? Everton aren't going to win the league, are they, Camilla?
Well, look, Will's very biased, and you can't be like that, Will. You've got people all over the UK who support different teams. You've got to give encouragement. It's no good if Liverpool win the Premiership every fucking year, is it?
Yeah.
It might be if you're a Liverpool, oh yeah, we win. But that's kind of like not good for football. You want competition. You want rivalry. You want people to win the league by 1 point. You want someone to like Liverpool did a few years ago, on the way to winning the league. I think you playing Crystal Palace and they got beat 3-0, where they should have won. The one where Gerrard slipped and he fell.
Chelsea?
Chelsea was it, he slipped and
Why do you want that to happen?
I never said I wanted that to happen.
Go on.
Why are you always twisting everything and trying to like embarrass me?
Why are you always
I didn't say that at all.
Go on.
All I said was it's good for football if it's still a bit of a game of chance and everybody's in with a chance.
Brilliant. Right. Halfway through the chat, massive thank you to everyone for tuning in. I'm loving the questions that are coming in. Here's a question from David Foster. And he says, what about Sunderland, the centre of global tourism? Now,
well, look, people are taking the piss out of me. We did a show in Sunderland last year, and we were up at a place, a friend of ours, Ali, he runs it. It's called the Quayside Exchange. And it's right down at the quayside of Sunderland. And I've always had an idea in my mind, you know, you get kind of preconceived idea of what some of these cities in the UK are going to look like. And I genuinely got a shock. It was in the summer, went to Sunderland, we were down to Quayside, and it was lovely. There were boats there, yachts and everything. And it was kind of reminiscent of the Mediterranean. But all people are doing now is taking the piss out. I'm not saying Grangetown in fucking Sunderland, which is rough as fuck, or Downhill, or any of these fucking rough places in Sunderland are like the Mediterranean. But on that particular night, sunny night, few little boats, there's, you know, the river and boats, yachts and things, and people sitting out having, and it's kind of like very continental, yeah.
Nice one. I don't know why that's come about lately. People keep going on about it lately. But yeah, here we go. We've got Andy Sheller who says, Frankie, what motorway is close to Sunderland?
Well, close to Sunderland, the motorway, you'd have to get on the 62, and then you'd get on the M1, get on the A19. That's what you want to do. But you could go up towards Carlisle and go across, you know, Penrith, Rough, Barnet Castle, and come along the A19 that way to Sunderland. Yeah.
Nice one. Yeah, we've got a question.
I know that was a trick question.
We've got a question. We've got a question coming in from someone who's trying to wind you up, Matt, royally here. Hold on a sec. Let's see what we've got. Oh, Charlie Ailes just joined the chat.
Charlie, how are you doing, mate?
He says, "Hi, Frankie. Just heard you mentioned your healing and Peter. Praise God."
Charlie, we were in Blackpool. It was a few years ago now. The way that the years are flying by. Peter had been diagnosed with this mycosis, which is kind of a skin cancer. And he wasn't very well at the time. You put your hands on him. You said some prayers. And I was speaking to him just the other day. And he'd be out with me on the clubs. You know, he comes at a lot of the shows if it was possible. But during the lockdown, obviously it's not. But he's in good health. So, Charlie, what can I say? You're a genius.
Right, okay. Let's see. We've got Darren, who says, "Have you ever thought about doing a season in Benidorm?" Darren from Ulverston in Cumbria.
Ulverston in Cumbria. Now, Ulverston in Cumbria, let me tell you a little bit about Ulverston in Cumbria before we move on to Benidorm. One of my favourite places, because what I've tried to do with all these places to go to in the UK is kind of mix my job as an entertainer with visiting places in the UK, which I'm very interested in history, where people were born, local history, the history of the cities that I go to or the towns that I go to. And Ulverston, the last time we went up to Ulverston, I went along to Stan Laurel's birthplace, his house. Laurel Hardy, I'm a big fan of, where Stan Laurel was born and where he lived, and went to the museum there at Ulverston. I remember in 1982, my car broke down outside Ulverston Sports and Social Club, and the guy who was the MC, Johnny, came out and he fixed it. Remember the points in your car, and he bent the points back. Poor Capri, got it going again. So great people up there in Ulverston. The Glaxo Club as well, which he did with Howard Kendall. Great place, Ulverston. Yeah, what was the question? Can't remember now.
Fucking hell, you love Ulverston, don't you?
I'm into Ulverston.
Have you ever thought about doing a season in Benidorm?
Oh, season in Benidorm?
Yeah.
Never really thought about going to Benidorm, and I'll tell you why. Benidorm for me is very commercial. I'm not really into places which are too commercial, like Las Vegas, kind of like Blackpool. I like we went to Tenerife. We've done a show there, but where we were in Cotadecchi, it wasn't too commercial. You only had to go down the road in a cab for a couple of miles, and you could find, like you found, you found a lovely kind of restaurant.
Tenerife, yeah.
In Tenerife, you find some really out of the way places, very quaint. I don't like all the brashness of Benidorm, you know. So no, I wouldn't really like to go there. Sorry.
Okay, we've got. Give me 2 secs on this. Sorry, guys, if I'm rolling back. And if you have got any more questions, please fire them in. We've got hundreds of people in the chat now. While you're in here, give us a thumb up on the video, get it shared, subscribe if you're on YouTube. How are you watching this? Are you watching it on your telly? Are you watching it on your phone? Let us know. What do you reckon? You reckon most people watch this on the phone or the telly?
I would say a lot of people. I'd say 50% of people are watching this on the TVs.
Do you reckon? Yeah. Let us know, because it's always interesting to hear. We've got, someone was calling me a letdown then, so I'm going to try and find his...
Have we got any trolls coming on tonight?
Yeah, well, we are. Let's see. We haven't got trolls. Maximus Jenkins has said, "Will please ask Frankie, have you got your jab for the over 65s category yet?"
Yeah, well, I'm not over 65. So when I do, I'll be right at the back of the fucking queue, mate. You're probably going for yours now.
Right, okay. Let's see what we've got in here. Hello, boys. This is North Red. Hello, boys. Just started watching your YouTube clips last week. Brilliant. And your Reds, fantastic. Best wishes from Ireland. You'll never walk alone.
You'll never walk alone.
Top man.
Did you see the documentary? Watch out on the documentary, Sky Documentaries channel. It's called End of the Storm. Great documentary. Watched it last night. All about Liverpool 2019 to 20, winning the Premiership. Fantastic. Got to watch it. Look, Sky Documentaries.
Okay, loads of people coming in now. We've got David Currid, who's used to come in the chat all the time. We were doing these regularly. Big shout out to David. He says, "How are Zippy and Cliff Richard doing during the latest lockdown, Frankie? Are they going to make little cameo appearances during this live stream, mate?"
Well, I just want to say that I want to say that after the Eurovision Song Contest, I recorded congratulations. #1 all over the world. I want to thank everybody. Thank Hank Marvin, all my fans. Thank you.
Hey, nice. And what about Zippy? Is he coming in later?
Oh yes, Zippy will be here, Jeffrey.
Hey, nice one. Okay. Brothers Dave, who keeps commenting. I think a couple of people have commented this question. Which is the roughest place you have ever played?
Yeah, well, there's many places I've worked that have been rough. You know, I've been seeing fights in the audiences. Places which are rough, I'd have to go with Stoke, can be quite rough. Parts of Manchester, the big estates, Wythenshawe, Hattersley can be rough. Liverpool, if you get up to kind of like Kirby and Croxteth, Sunderland, Grangetown, you've got anywhere that you've got Radford in Nottingham. There's everywhere in the UK has got a rough area. You've got I can't think of it. Yeah, basically the same. People think every city, every town in the UK is different, and they are different. Got a bit of a different vibe. But as we all know, any of the lads out there, you can run into trouble anyway. You've got to be careful. You know, you kind of not really the clubs are that bad for trouble. As we all know, the city centres are the way. You've got to be careful in the city centre. You can really end up in trouble anywhere in the UK if you're in a chip shop or a kebab place after 12 o'clock. And you get in front of somebody in the queue, and you jump the queue, you can be in trouble, you know. So, yeah, you know, obviously, so you can't. It's not a general rule, you know. But I think the north is probably a little bit rougher than the Midlands and down south. But you can run into trouble anywhere.
Nice one. Really appreciate everyone's comments. If we haven't got round to your comments, I do apologise. There's hundreds of comments coming in. Let's see what we've got here. Because someone was just moaning at me for not getting back. We've got, here we go. Gary Mason, Frankie, I'd love to go on Naked Attraction.
Okay.
Look at the fannies and then fuck off. Would you go on Naked Attraction?
No, I actually seen, I took a glimpse of that show. Fucking disgusting. You know, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my age. I just can't get on. So, fucking big fat fellas showing the knobs on the telly. Some of them have got tiny knobs. Fuck off, don't watch that. Gary Mason, famous boxer Gary Mason, who sadly died, got killed. He was on his bike, wasn't he? Got killed by a man. Gary Mason was a great boxer.
So would you? Why do you think?
No,
it's so
just said.
have you watched it?
I've seen it, and I couldn't keep my eyes off it. I couldn't believe that you're putting the telly on. You're not the news.
Can you describe it to anyone who's never seen it?
There's a thing called, what's it called?
Naked
Attraction.
Yeah.
Anyway, I put the telly on one night, and you know, I was just eating a fucking cheese sandwich and had a coffee. I'm looking, the next thing is, I thought, what the fuck's this? This big fat cunt, this fat fella, big belly.
Yeah.
Then you could see like this little fucking knob hanging down, little tiny shrunken knob and big fat legs. Then this bird getting interviewed, going, oh yes, he's only got a little pee. What the fuck's it? The next thing, there's other big fat fella come on with a big belly, with like a horrible dick. Fuck off. Those people that are putting that on, you want to take it off the television. That's not nice. That's not good TV. That's fucking horrible.
You better pay a TV license for that.
You can fuck off. I'm not paying a fucking license to look at the end of someone's fucking dick. Fuck off. Those people that put Naked Attraction on, you want fucking, get it off.
Okay, Michael says, but what about The Root? Wouldn't that be a hit, Frankie?
The Root's just a joke, and it's a gag, a long-running gag that I don't think is really funny because I'm only like normal. I'm only normal size.
Hey. Okay. Welsh John, did you enjoy Cardiff, Frankie?
Cardiff's fantastic, and we've been speaking lately yesterday actually to Peter Griffiths, who runs the Bale Sports Arena down in Cardiff. He's a bit fed up, and he's got a home up in Newquay, you know, near Aberystwyth. He goes up there and stays there, and he's a smashing lad, great lad. And the Cardiff lads are fantastic, as are all the South Wales lads. I had a very good friend of mine, Big Fred, who was my mate, my best mate for years. Great big lad, sadly passed away, and he was from Newport originally, and they came up to live in Liverpool. But, you know, a lot of these working class areas all over the UK, very similar to each other. The Cardiff lads and the Swansea lads are very similar to Scousers.
Well, just on that note, you've got a question saying, from David Foster, can you get up to Glasgow post-lockdown, mate? It would be wild and would sell out.
Well, we want to get to Glasgow. I love Glasgow. The last time we were at Glasgow, we were at the Buddha Bar for a guy called Tom Melville, who I want to see again. It was because we made friends with Tom, and he's a great guy, and he owns a few clubs around Scotland, around there, Glasgow, and we went out, we had a lovely meal. Glasgow's a boss place. It's not rough, it's fantastic. We both went out, had a Spanish meal in a lovely restaurant. Then we ended up in one of Tom Melville's clubs. We didn't get any birds, but that's not unusual.
Okay, Gaz Riley's asking if you've played Southend-on-Sea. That was on the list, actually, for post-lockdown, but we didn't manage to do it. Mario LaBarbera is asking Frankie where we've done the Spa Centre in Leamington Spa. All of these places are actually on our list.
Leamington Spa. I want to go to Leamington Spa if I can. As I say, a lot of these places, they ring bells in my mind, remind me of things. I mean, my dad passed away a couple of years ago, and when he was in the RAF, the Air Force, he was stationed in Leamington Spa for about 2 years. So yeah, I'd like to go down there. Yeah, with me, I'm a bit weird that way. I'll find out where the RAF base is, and I'll go visit it. You know.
Okay. So sorry if I haven't got round to your question yet. As I said earlier, anyone who's watching this, massive thank you. On YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, we've just hit over 12,000 subscribers, so it's a big plus, that, isn't it?
That's a big plus. People are tuning in. People want to be entertained. People want to find out what's going on.
And 94,000 followers on Facebook. If you're not following already, get following, get this shared,
get subscribed,
get us a thumb up. Let's see what people are saying. Dude Monkfish has come in on YouTube and he says, Frankie, would you go in the Celebrity Get Me Out of Here jungle?
No.
Why?
I mean, I just wouldn't fucking do it. You know, literally put all the tea in China. You know, the money. I know they're all kind of millionaires, giving themselves millions of fucking pounds. I'm not going in the fucking jungle, eating worms, sitting in a fucking pool of piss or something while someone drops cockroaches on my head. Fuck off. That's not me. Not going to do it.
What would you do if somebody said, you know, obviously you're not working at the moment.
Yeah.
They're going to have like a secure unit.
Yeah.
It's going to be somewhere, you know, like the castle they did in England.
Okay.
You're going to get mainstream TV.
Yeah.
And you're going to get 100 grand.
Well, first of all,
the first night, you've got to eat sheep's bollocks.
No, I wouldn't do it. I mean, first of all, I couldn't go to Australia. I'm in the jungle.
In the jungle this time. It's in the castle.
Well, it's in the UK. I know it's in North Wales now. If someone said to me, look, I'm not asked about money. I've never been a thing. Money's never been a thing to me. I know a lot of people who are millionaires, mates of mine, who've died suddenly and they passed away, heart attacks and things. And the money's been no good to them. Everybody wants to be alive. You want to be alive, don't you? So money's, you know, it's important. It's no good if you've got no money, but you need a certain amount. But look, if someone said, Frankie, here's £1 million, eat this sheep's bollock, and here's a cow's knob, put it on a sandwich, I'd say, fuck off. You go and fucking eat it, and you can keep the £1 million fucking quid.
Nice one. Just realised Jen Lightwhite is in the chat.
Jen, how you doing, love?
Jen, you're a legend. I think Ken Rafferty's in here as well.
All the way from Dublin, Ken, and I hope your son's still awake.
Okay, let's see. I think Frankie would be a good actor. This is from Carlos Blake.
Yeah.
Has he ever considered getting into the movie game?
Yeah, probably when I was younger. I should have done, and I did have an opportunity really to be in a play on the Liverpool Everyman, but I was only 18, 19. I was very good in the school play when I was in the school play, and I always had a feeling I could have been a good actor. I was in a movie, and it was called Al's Lads. I was talking about it today, and it was a gangster film with Ralph Little. He was starring in it, and it was filmed in Liverpool, and it was about 1920 Chicago. I played the part of Franco, who was Al Capone's bodyguard. So look for it. It's called Al's Lads.
Okay, we are going to talk to some more people now. Massive thank you to everyone joining in. By the way, people coming in from all over the UK. And as I always say, if you are tuning in tonight, please do tell us where you're tuning in from. It helps us know where we should put events on post-lockdown. And lots of things happening. Frankie, would you go to the moon on a free trip?
No.
Why?
I will not fly. I won't fly from fucking Liverpool to Birkenhead. I'm terrified of flying. Don't like flying. If I was like at a job, say during the lockdown, there was no work, and somebody said, listen, Frankie, there's a job here, and it's with the British Space Authority. You know, all you've got to do, you're on like £200 a week, you've got to clean out this space capsule. Now imagine if I fell asleep in that capsule. The next week, the fucking astronaut got in, it was on the way to the moon.
Yeah.
A rocket on the way to the moon. And there's Frankie asleep. And I woke up and I could see the earth below me. I would just die on the spot. I wouldn't go round the fucking moon and come back in an orbit. I would be dead. I would be dead of fright.
Honestly, that bad?
Yeah, it's that bad.
That bad? Fucking hell. Let us know, would you go to the moon? I don't think I would. I couldn't get
I'd be dead.
Okay. Let's see what we've got. This is a very interesting one. Mike U90 has obviously watched a lot of vlogs.
Okay.
He said, Frankie, would you rather do a gig with reverb or have a DJ talking shit between the gags?
Well,
he knows his stuff, this
you've
guy.
seen us probably in Huddersfield.
No, he's watched the vlogs from... Yeah. He probably watched the vlog from Huddersfield, and then, you know, when you were saying that fella was going, in between the gags.
Fella in Pathelli, you've never seen anything like it in your life. Just to explain to everybody who doesn't know what he's on about. What he's on about is, few of these places, that many times over the years, you go into these clubs and they say, look, we've got a microphone for you. And there's been a singer on before you, or the DJ's been on making stupid noises, and they leave the echo chamber on. So you pick the mic up to tell gags and you go, good evening, late, and he goes, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, as though you're in a fucking cave. It's terrible. So I always try and make sure we had a bad experience in Huddersfield, where I even said to you, didn't I, said to everyone, said to the DJ, make sure that the reverb is off, because it's on now. I went on stage thinking it was off, being assured that it was turned off, and it was on. It was fucking horrendous. What
would you prefer? Someone shouting out in between your gags or the reverb being on?
Because
when we did, what was the...
Pathelli Golf Club.
You were telling the gag, and then when he finished the gag...
There was a dickhead. You've never seen anything like this in your life. It's quite funny. There was a DJ, like something like, as though he'd escaped from the 70s, like something from the fucking 18, with a huge explosion of this blonde hair. He looked like Christopher Lloyd, you know, the professor in Back to the Future. Looked like him. And he had this huge Hawaiian fucking shirt on. And he's putting records on, spinning these discs. And as he'd put a record on, he'd go, oh, Augie, 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 oi, oi, oi. I went, okay, you know, let him do that. He's a dickhead, but let him do it. So he's still sitting in his DJ booth. He introduces me, will introduce me on stage, as it is. Tonight, Frankie, I'm the UK's most famous comedian. Put your hands together. So I come out. The first gag I do at the end of the gag, he jumps up and he goes, Hoggy, Hoggy, and he's on the microphone. Hoggy, 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 oi, 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 Hoggy, Hoggy, Hoggy. So I was shocked, stunned, couldn't believe anyone could do anything like that. And I just got over the mic and I walked over to him and said, hey mate, who the fucking hell are you? Fuck off. And he still wouldn't go. And in the end I said, ladies and gentlemen, I can't continue unless we get this dickhead off the stage. Yeah. And we got him thrown out. We got him thrown out. Fucking
we didn't get him thrown out. We just got a
we got him taken off the stage, I mean.
He wasn't on this. He was like side stage. Anyway, the question is, would you rather go on stage with reverb or with that fella next to you?
With the fella next to me.
Why?
Because at least with the reverb, people can understand you. And without the reverb, and if I was getting heckled or if there was dickhead in the crowd shouting, Oggy, 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 I've got the mic, people can understand me, and I can savage him.
Right. Aaron Canwell has been commenting a lot. Aaron, I didn't see your earlier comments, so I apologise. But he said, Frankie, you have a connection with the military. Would you come down to Portsmouth to entertain the Royal Navy? It'd be a sellout.
Yeah, I'd love to entertain the Navy lads. I did an awful lot for the Army over the years in the 90s, 2000s. I was never away from West Germany as it used to be, or Germany. Done all the bases there, done all the bases in the UK, a lot of Army bases. Haven't really done any Navy. The only Navy thing I did was HMS Rook ROOK, which was in Gibraltar, if you remember, I'm correct, a few years ago. But I've been over, you know, Hereford, Zenlager, Osnabrück, Rheindal, and Berlin, Fallenbostel, Hone, everywhere you can think of in Germany I've done for the Army. But I'd love to entertain the Navy lads, are good lads, and they're doing a fantastic job.
Brilliant, right? Loving this chat so far. People with lots of boss questions coming in. Please do. We've got 15 minutes left in the chat. Throw your questions at us. Thomas Jordan's coming from YouTube. He says, Frankie, what do you think of driverless cars, and would you get in one?
I wouldn't get in a driverless car, and I'll tell you why. You know, you might sit back and go, this is great. We're going, people have been killed in driverless cars. They don't want to publicise it. But if you look on the internet, man killed in driverless car, you'll see, you know, you'll see that there was a case in the States where someone was in a driverless car, driving around, and the fucking car just kind of lost it and crashed into a wall and killed him. So a lot of these places, like all these hospitals, isn't it? You know, somebody dies in a hospital, and if it's the hospital's fault, they don't really give a fuck. All they do, they print a thing in the paper,
oh yes, lessons have been learned. What the fuck does that mean? You're dead. No, I won't take any unnecessary risks with my life. In a car that you've got no control over, fucking hell, that's a risk. No, I wouldn't go in a driverless car.
Ever.
Ever.
What if it was like a thing where in the future
Yeah.
there's no cars that are knocking about that you can drive and they're all driving?
Well, I'd have to. It's like when I have flown, it's only because I've had to. But, you know, even when you're flying in an airplane, you're leaving your destiny, the control you've got over your own life, you're leaving it in somebody else's hands, just like you are during an operation. Now, it's only a 1 in a million chance, but what happens if the pilot is like suicidal or the pilot's a fucking idiot? You know, the same as a driverless car. You're leaving your destiny in the hands of a fucking machine. And if it's smashing into a wall, you've got no chance. You can't grab the steering wheel, can you? And steer away because it's driverless. No, I would not get in a driverless car.
Perfect. We've got loads of boss questions coming in now. Loving these questions. Have you ever rode on a motorbike? That's from Gary Mason.
Gary Mason. No, Gary, I haven't been on a motorbike. Don't think I'd like to. Don't really feel safe. I've been on the back of a scooter when I was a kid, a teenager, one of these Lambretta scooters, been up and down the road a few times. It's nice to feel the wind in your hair, you know, in your face and whatever, but, well, the hair that I used to have, don't feel it now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you know, no, I'm not really into all that, mate. Fucking motorbike.
Okay, here's a boss question coming in from Pete Marr, and I know Pete Marr watches a lot of YouTube stuff. Big thank you to him. He says, what about an online paying gig? I'll talk about that in a second, mate. We'll come to that. But the second question is what I want to answer, because people have been commenting saying this about you. Now, Peter's not saying this, but he says, what do you think of some comedians who plant people to heckle in the audience? Now, there was a viral video of you that's going around from Middlesbrough from 2019, February 2019. Millions of views online, where people believe
it was a setup.
You planted the fella and it was a setup when he came to the stage. Have you ever done that, first of all? That's the first thing.
Never done that. What you've got to remember, I mean, I've heard there's been a few people have said that video in Middlesbrough might have been a setup with the little fella.
Yeah.
It wasn't a setup. My initial video that went viral was very, you know, spontaneous. It happened there and then. Didn't even know it was being filmed. Fella had a phone filming me propped up against a pint glass. I had no idea I was being filmed. Now, if you orchestrate something with people in the crowd and you set something up, people aren't stupid. You know, instinctively you'd watch something and you go, there's something not right about that. It looks as though it's a setup. It looks as though it's orchestrated. There's nothing better than watching something as it happens that's natural.
Yeah.
So, no, you can't beat natural, you know, something that evolves on the night naturally, just purely by chance. You're never going to beat that with setting something up. So, no, I've never set anything up and I never would do.
Well, Andrew's coming and he says, but you used to have a set-up cockle cellar.
Well, I didn't have a set-up cockle cellar. All that was me and my mate Georgie Moss, comedian. We were a duo, and I used to do this thing with him on stage. He used to dress up as a cockle seller in the dressing room, run out to the car park, come back into the club, selling cockles and mussels, as they used to do in the clubs years ago. Guys would go around with white coats on, selling fish and cockles and mussels in the social clubs. And George came back into the club, came in one door, and as he did, the real cockles and mussels fella seller who was selling the stuff came in the other door, and probably the biggest laugh I've ever heard in my life. Nearly brought the fucking roof off the Derry club in Liverpool. Yeah, biggest laugh I've ever been involved with. Huge laugh. It was so funny, but it was very natural. It wasn't set up.
Brilliant. We've got some, you know, not to lower the tone, but a nice comment coming in from Andy Seller, who says, God bless to young Dave, thinking of him at this sad time. Now, if anyone doesn't know, young Dave is a good friend of ours. You might have seen him on the vlogs and stuff like that. He's Frank's best friend and a close friend of mine. And his mother sadly passed away a couple of weeks back. And a lot of the people have been showing support to Dave by sending their condolences. So massive thank you to everyone who has sent Dave your condolences.
And Dave's old school. I mean, he really is.
it's a long story, but he's got a nice car now. He's got a big 4-wheel drive and whatever. But going back 6 months ago, he didn't have a car.
Yeah.
And he used to travel to his mother's, literally rain, hail or shine, in the rain, in the snow, in the wind. He used to catch 2 buses to go from where he lives in Highton all the way to Wavertree. Awkward place to get to every day to look after his mum. You know, a lot of people, you know, can't. And I really admire him for that. It's fantastic. And, you know, my heart goes out to him. He's a great lad. And he's been, you know, as we all should be. As we all should be. Anybody whose parents are still alive, you all should be good children. And, you know, we should be good to our parents, you know, because when they're gone, you're going to regret it.
Good shout. He is a legend. If you do want to pass on your regards to him, feel free to do so in the comments. I'll try and put someone up here. And Stephen Lenahan says, I don't know if you remember, you gave a shout out to my nephew's little girl who had neuroblastoma. She's in remission now.
Oh, isn't that fantastic?
Brilliant news, good stuff.
Oh, still on, yeah. Are we still on? Yeah, so, yeah, neuroblast, that's I know what it is. It's that disease, isn't it, where the kind of like the face blows up and becomes kind of deformed and whatever. If she's in remission, that's fantastic. Great news.
A lot of people saying, sending nice things. R.I.P. Dave's mum, at peace now. Camilla's saying love and healing to young Dave. Brilliant, massive thank you to everyone who's putting them in. Dave Riley says, Frankie, it was good when you got pissed off with your Wi-Fi. I pissed myself.
Oh, well, look, everybody keeps coming on saying it's dead funny when Frankie gets the ump and takes his ball home. All these different expressions to explain me getting in a fucking narc. But I've got no patience. That's the thing with me. I'm not a patient guy. Now, Will's saying to me, I'm in my fucking house. I've got my phone. I'm trying to get this the thing going where we're communicating. It keeps crackling and going on and going and off. And it really winds me up.
Okay, nice one. We've got just 8 minutes left on the chat. Massive thank you to anyone who's tuned in. As I said, if you are watching on the replay, please comment replay. If you're watching this on Facebook, please do get it shared, thumb it up and all the rest of it. And if you're on YouTube, massive thank you. We just hit 12,000 subscribers. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. I'm hoping that we are still on here. If we are, please comment. Let us know if we're still on. I don't know whether we got kicked off then because we rang through. No, we're not. Yeah, Richard Jenkins sent a message. Great to meet up the other day. I hope you sorted the tyre out.
Richie Jenkins, and Richie's a great friend of mine and a great friend of Davey Ford, young Dave. Richie Jenkins is part of the Jenkins family, very prominent Liverpool family, and they run Jenkins's funerals based in Wavertree, and they've got a hell of a lot of sway on Merseyside, huge funeral organisation. Very good, and he's a great guy. Richie, all the best, mate. Hope we'll see you again soon. Good lad.
Brilliant. We've got loads of nice comments coming in. Let's see. Keith Roberts. Keith, the legend. You know Big Keith, don't you?
I know Big Keith. Good lad.
Big Keith says, Errol Flynn should get his massive monster to be his aerial for the Wi-Fi.
This is all about Errol Flynn had a big dick, you know, or he was rumoured to have.
I don't even know who it is.
Yeah, it's just an actor from years ago. So from the 30s, 40s, yeah, Errol Flynn. About this root thing, innit? That's all.
Hey, okay. Let's see, before we go ahead, Frankie, tell us a couple of gags before you go. That's from Ian.
Do you know what? I haven't even heard a couple of gags. People are sending things on your phones, aren't they, to each other? And it's just kind of way of communicating, isn't it? Saying hello to each other, sending each other these silly little things. But not a lot of gags going round, mainly visual. I don't think I've heard a fucking good gag for a while.
Really, yeah? Okay, on that, Samuel says, Frankie, what do you think is the best and worst accent in the UK or Ireland?
Any accent which is kind of like over the top, if you know what I mean, which is too strong, can be irritating, can't it? You know, I mean, a London accent, if you got a Cockney accent, like that, you know, you're fucking, what's he saying? That can be irritable. Scouse accent, if it's too heavy, can be very, you know, irritable to the ear. Any accent, but it's strange things, accents, aren't they?
Who do you reckon's got a stronger accent, a Liverpool accent, me or you?
I would say we've got, you know, we've done this before last year, then we asked people.
Okay, let us know what you guys think.
People actually came on, a lot of Scousers came on, and they said, yeah, Frankie, you've got an accent. Very reminiscent, reminds me of people around Kensington in Liverpool. And somebody and said, but Will's accent is more kind of like Crosby.
And they were dead on, they were right, they were 100% right.
Let us know in the comments.
I'm fascinated by accents. Even Manchester, when I first started going to Manchester, working all over Manchester, North Manchester accents, very different than South. You know, Salford is very different than if you go out towards Ashton, and also Bury and Bolton are very different than Wigan. And if you go towards Burnley and Blackburn, everything's here. I was in the car park, very, very different again than the normal Lancashire accent. Preston's different than Blackpool. So it's very strange, very fascinating. Thousands of different accents all over the UK. And anyone, even if you live down south or Scotland or whatever, will know that even if you live in the middle of Glasgow or the middle of Portsmouth or the middle of Plymouth, people that you speak to, you may not be able to put your finger exactly where they're from, but you'll know they're not exactly where you're from in that city, maybe a few miles away, where the accent has become a little bit different. So absolutely fascinating.
Okay, let's see. Frankie's is stronger. That's what everyone keeps saying. Kev Matthews, Frankie's is stronger, definitely. Paul Dixon, Frankie's accent is stronger than Will's. I think that kind of we've come to a quick conclusion on that one. Last couple of questions. If you'd like to throw a question to Frankie, you've got 4 minutes to do so. We've got Paul Plasker, who's always and he's a great fella. He says, lads, did you like Morecambe and Wise? I've got no idea who they are, so that's over to
Morecambe
you.
and Wise were a duo on the television, the 70s and 80s. And my dad thought they were fantastic. I mean, at the end of the day, they were on the TV, and that was like you'd made it. You know, if you got on the television, you really made it. And they had their own TV series. They were very funny when you consider the constraints that around a live performance on the television. Obviously, you can't swear, you can't say anything too contentious. So they were very good, but I never had a chance to see them live. Now, Bobby Ball, who's just passed away recently, was a member of Cannon and Ball. They had their own TV show in the 80s and 90s. And, you know, I'm qualified to say they were fantastic. I saw Cannon and Ball live 2 or 3 times. They were absolutely hilarious. Absolutely world-class. World-class. Fantastic.
Okay. Let's see. Ian says, Frankie has got what we've come to know as an old-school Scouse accent.
Old school Scouse accent, as I say, you can generally, you know, even at me, at my age, you know, you can pick up how old people are by the way they speak. You know, there was a Liverpool accent that my dad used to kind of speak, which was very prevalent just after the war.
It's like a bit more Lancashire, isn't it?
A bit more Lancashire.
Like a Paul McCartney vibe.
Yeah, like Paul McCartney. Yeah. And it's like Crosby, where we are now at the moment. They speak a very kind of Scouse, but it's kind of a little bit milder than in city centre Liverpool. And Wallasey and Birkenhead, although Birkenhead, some people in Birkenhead can have a very thick accent, just like people in Liverpool city centre. If you go to Bromborough, Bedlington, Wallasey, those places, it's very mild, much milder. Than it's fascinating, isn't it?
Okay, last couple of questions, guys. You've got 2 minutes left. Massive thank you to everyone for tuning in, by the way. Last couple, we've got, when are you back out, guys?
Do you know what? That's the $6 million question. We're chomping at the bit. We want to get out. People are getting depressed, getting fed up. You know, somebody came on today and said, don't be talking about, you know, the lockdown and things. But we've got to talk about it because we want to work. You know, we're just keeping our fingers crossed like everybody else, hoping and praying that this all comes to an end. And that if anybody out there, there's going to be a lot of people who are watching this who aren't working. And, you know, we need to make money to live. But I love being on stage anyway, and so does Will. We love the clubs. So we love the shows. Hopefully, it's going to be this year, obviously, sometime. Possibly, got a feeling it could be. What do you reckon, April, May?
Oh, I'm hoping April. So fingers crossed.
So keep our fingers crossed, yeah.
Back out there. Okay, last couple people. We've got Sausage Jockey. He's been watching on YouTube. He says, not one thumb down on YouTube. Says it all. Great work, gang. Scouse bastards. Look, if you are watching on YouTube or you're watching on Facebook, we have massively appreciated you tuning in tonight. And, you know, we seem to be going from strength to strength, getting a bigger and bigger audience. I mean, are you feeling that vibe at the moment?
Yeah, we're feeling there's people out there and, you know, people that are empathising with us. They know that we're not working and we want to communicate. And it's great. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's not being weird or trying to be psychic or something, or kind of be like fucking, what's that girl that goes around, Psychic Sally? or anything like that, but you can feel a kind of a vibe going around with everybody that's watching this tonight. We're all kind of a network, and we're all friends, and that's great. And I always feel good, kind of like if a guy came on with a comment once and he said, look, I was really down and out and almost, suicidal, he said, and, you're kind of like broadcaster and picked up, they really cheered me up and they've taken me out of a dark place. And I thought, that's fantastic, it really touched me because I've been in a dark place. We've all had problems, but my philosophy is this: communicate, do things like this, Zoom your mates, FaceTime your mates, telephone, speak to the postman if you've got no family, anyone that comes to your door, talk to them, keep speaking. And we're all in the same boat. We're all trying to get to the shore, swimming towards the shore. Let's make sure that we all get there together.
Right, as we said, massive thank you for everyone for tuning in. We're trying to get this set up. Look, I'm trying to learn as I go along, and we're trying to improve this setup all the time so we can talk to people in a better way, bring people onto the chat. And tonight we've had your questions that have come from both YouTube and Facebook, which I think's worked out brilliantly. And hopefully we're going to bring you a lot more of these with less fuck-ups. We've had
a few technical problems that we find out, but you're going to get them, aren't you? Obviously, you're going to get little problems and things. Even I don't think I was talking about going to the moon. Even during the rocket that went to the moon with Neil Armstrong, even that went off a little bit.
Last one, Neil Thomas says, great, you need to do a quiz. Should we do that?
Why don't we do a quiz?
Yeah, okay.
Because I'm very good at quizzes and general knowledge. I know an awful lot of stuff. So we'll set the quiz and we'll do it next time, eh?
Yeah, 100%. Last couple, Andy Austin says, can you say hi to Midge in Salford? He's having a bit of a bad time. Love you guys. Shout out to Midge in Salford.
Midge, you're living in Salford. I know Salford very well. I don't know where you are. You might be in Salford Precinct or Broughton, Lower Broughton, Higher Broughton. Good people in Salford. Some good mates of mine living down there. Steve Foster, the ex-boxer, the world champ, the Viking. He's a good mate of mine, and he's a good Salford lad. They're great people down there. So start speaking to people around Salford. They're great people. They'll be very sympathetic, and they'll give you a lift, your mood. Yeah, Salford, great people.
Kev Matthews, could you please wish my daughter to get well? She's been really poorly for the last week. She'd be made up. Great show, boys. Thanks, Kev, and wish your daughter all the best.
You haven't told us your daughter's name, but Kev, hope your daughter kind of gets better, makes it improves. I hope things that she's going to have a great year. All the best. Right,
so look, I apologise if I haven't got round to everyone's questions. Ryan Comby keeps asking if we can do a podcast about Frankie's knowledge. Let us know what type of knowledge you mean.
What kind of knowledge?
Look, we have appreciated everyone tuning in tonight. It's been fun. Have you enjoyed it?
I don't want it to end. I'll stay on if you want to stay on. I mean, we'll always kind of. I don't know what.
I've got to go. I've got the video to edit for tomorrow night.
He's trapping me. I just wanted to stay on and do more.
Only because you've got nothing else to do.
I've got fuck all to do. But there's people. Why are the people out there tuning in tonight? Because they've got fuck all to do.
Well, you get your fucking Wi-Fi sorted and you can go get on it from yours.
Yeah, but it's not my fault the fucking thing is going off.
It is. You've got Wi-Fi from 1980.
Well, look, we've got to get. When are we back on anyway?
We're definitely back on next Monday. A vlog comes out tomorrow night, Tuesday. You may as well reveal it. What is the vlog that's coming out tomorrow night?
The vlog, it's Will's idea, and he's a clever guy. You know, you see these things on the television, MTV Cribs, all multi-fucking billionaires like Nelly and like fucking Dr. Dre, and they're going around their houses looking at the fucking house. I thought, well, I just live in an ordinary house. I thought it wouldn't be funny. Will said it'd be funny if they went to your house, just had a look around, see what it was like. So,
and did you enjoy it?
I've enjoyed it. It's been great. The only fucking thing is, took me all night last night to fucking clean up with me bad back, fucking mopping up and everything because I knew the cameras were coming today.
Yeah, but it looks good, doesn't it?
Looks good.
Looks good. So that's coming out tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. We'll be on live later this week. The podcast will be out on Sunday because that's the designated day for the podcast now. And, if there's a good day that's good for you guys later on this week, please let us know. But if not,
look,
we'll be back
everybody out there that's watched this, wherever you are in the British Isles, or you might be abroad somewhere, we get people tuning in from Thailand now and over in America and Australia and everywhere. Take care of yourselves. Be careful. Be careful out there.
Nice one. Really appreciate everyone tuning in. Get it shared, get subscribed, continued support. We love it. Thank you so much. And we'll
see you later. Take care. All the best.
Bye-bye.